Om Shri Sai Ram, offering my most humble salutations at the divine lotus feet of my beloved master Bhagavan Shri Sathya Sai Baba. Bhagavatha Vahini, Chapter 27. Enter Sage Shuka. Summary. The ascetics were appalled that a fellow sage's son could unleash such a vile curse and argued that the boy would have the spiritual stature for such a curse to be effective. Parikshit, however, acknowledged the gravity of his crime and was very accepting of the curse and his own impending death as a just punishment. The sages were amazed at his humility and equanimity. Parikshit then inquired on what would be the best way for him to spend the last 7 days of his life. When the ascetics suggested different spiritual practices like japa and tapas, none of them were convincing enough for Parikshit. Suddenly, a young boy sage with great lustre entered and seated himself. One of the ascetics recognized him as Sage Shuka, son of Sage Vyasa, and said that he was fully realized and had access to all knowledge. Parikshit, in great joy and humility, fell at his feet and asked Sage Shuka the same question. The sage replied that withdrawing from the world and fixing your attention on the Lord was the best way to spend one's last days, and that he would explain further on how exactly to do that. Key takeaways. They say that in any negative event, stages move initially from disbelief and denial to anger to grief and finally to acceptance. While the emotions preceding acceptance are only human, they sometimes can cause much pain and suffering to both us and others in the time taken to reach the stage of acceptance. The sooner we are able to release ourselves from the expectations of the past and accept what has been given to us, the faster the peace and hidden positivity of the new reality can begin to take shape. The scriptures say that our entire life's central thoughts and actions are in many ways preparation for our death, as the thoughts we think at the point of death will determine our next stop in the game of life. So, what we will instinctively think of at that point is likely to be that which we have thought of and habitually done the most in our life. Let us therefore fill our thoughts with the Lord and His glory and invoke His grace in all our actions, such that on our last moments nothing but the Lord's thoughts fill our being. People often mistake age as an index of a person's maturity and wisdom. However, many people simply have the same 1 year of experience repeated several times over, rather than actually having several years of experience of growth through learning and letting go. Sage Shuka, though young in years, was inherently without desire or attachment, so he could harness the highest knowledge. Let us be humble enough to recognize the wisdom even in one who is young of age and ensure that we are learning and growing spiritually, personally, with every passing year of our life. End of chapter 27. Jai Sai Ram.